Hey, John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues, where we're all about taking cool acoustic blues concepts and breaking them down into really straightforward lessons just like this one. I'm super excited to share this with you. It's a slide guitar technique, and before I get into it, I just want to mention that I'm in Open G tuning, and if you're not familiar with that, I've got a lesson that I'll link up to help you get up to speed there before we dive in. But get your guitar tuned to Open G and let's dive into this thing. The real point of this is this slide technique. Like I said, it's been driving me nuts lately, like trying to get it down. I'm really obsessed with players like Sonny Landreth and some of the textures that they can get. And one of the ways that they can do that is by combining fretted notes with notes played with a slide. And he does it incredibly artfully. And we're going to chase that a little bit. I'm going to get you started with the technique. It's going to take you a lot of time in the woodshed to get this down. It probably will. It definitely did me. So don't get discouraged, but the sound is worth working for. So what am I talking about? Well, combining playing with a slide and fretted notes, but specifically what's happening, and it's featured in that little lick that you heard, is we're going to play with the slide and then play behind the slide with a fretted note. So I'm going to slide into my first note here and then fret. And in this case, I'm sliding into the major third. We're going to view this as coming from G, right? So our major third back down to our flat third. So we got a cool bluesy thing happening here. But let's really focus on the technique and what we're doing here. So playing with a slide requires the right amount of touch, but you actually want a soft touch, a light touch to pull this off, because what you need to do is then fret behind the slide. And if you've got everything happening, you'll notice that the string will fall, right? Because you're just pushing down the string. So mechanically, you're pinching the string behind the fret. You're going to get that fretted pitch, and it's going to sound nice and clear if, and only if, you've got enough clearance from the top of the string to the bottom of the slide. You want to lose contact with the slide. So here you want a nice solid contact with the slide, this 12th fret note in our case, but when you fret the 11th, you want the string to drop down below the slide so that you can hear the fretted note produced. We're going to do the same thing on the 12th fret of the 3rd string, followed by the 10th fret, which is fretted. So like that. And the magic in this is trying to balance the amount of pressure that you need to play good slide with not too much pressure, so that you can keep the slide high enough to allow for that string drop to happen, so that you can play with a good, clean, clear fretted note. And I'll show you what I've been practicing in just a second that really has helped me kind of develop that sort of balance of touch, okay? But that's the lick so far. Then we're just working our way down the strings. Like this. So we work our way down the 3rd string. Slide, then fret, slide, fret, slide, fret on the 4th string. So a lot is happening right here, 10th fret, 12th fret, right? And the 12th fret is going to be played with the slide, and the 10th played with your finger, fret it, right? The only thing we do is at the end of this, we slide down to the 8th fret. Now, I'm intentionally not diving into the notes and all that stuff. I want you to hear the contour of this and try to get it down. But what's more important is getting that clearance and getting the technique down. And again, I'm going to show you in just a second a cool little exercise that I took to the woodshed, and it really helped me. After we do this, we'll slide down to the 8th fret on the 4th string. Just finish off with our 4 chord. On strings 4, 3, and 2, then come up to our 5 chord, and you can arpeggiate that if you want to. Come up to the 5 chord. Then we're going to do another little fretted note trick, which is here. I'm going to put my index finger down on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and that drops below the slide. So we clear the slide and you hear this note, not this. But then we're going to do this kind of reverse hammer on. I don't know what you'd call it, a hammer off, because we're going to lift up from the fretted note and the string's going to come back into contact with the slide at the 7th fret in this case. Pretty cool effect there. And then just finish by sliding back into our 1 chord, this G major triad here at the 12th fret. So that's the lick. I'll play it through. Again, we're going to focus more on the technique than we are this specific lick. And what I want you to work on for a little exercise here is slide into the 12th fret with the slide. So 12th fret on the slide. And just practice this little thing. Do it incessantly. Do it until you annoy everybody around you. It's going to take a lot of time. It did me, at least. Maybe you'll run away with this, and I hope you do. But for me, this is where I spend a lot of time. The exercise is really just an alternating picking between the 4th string and the 3rd string, just back and forth. But then I'm going at the 12th fret with the slide. But every other time I hit the 3rd string, I'm going to play the fretted note at the 10th fret. You don't have to do this fast. In fact, I recommend you do it slowly in the beginning so you can really hear the notes and hear if you've got any problems. You want that fretted note to sound without, having any interference in the slide. Listen to what happens if you play the fretted note, but your slide is in the way. Might get some of that buzzy stuff, and that's not what we're after here. We want that string to drop below the slide, and we don't necessarily want to pick the slide up to accomplish this. Slow down. There we go. So you can hear these 2 notes is what we're really wanting to hear produced nice and clearly, but we're throwing that other string in there just to remind us that we need to keep the contact of the slide on the strings. You can do something like this on different string sets as well, because things can get a little tricky, especially as you get up here on the higher strings. So take this little exercise if you're having trouble or have never really encountered this technique, and work on that before trying to attempt this lick. Again, this is a super cool technique, and if you want to hear the master, I believe at least that's Sonny Landreth, and definitely give his stuff a listen, and I think you'll probably be as obsessed about chasing this as I am. I'm definitely working through this in my own playing. I wanted to share a few tips and things that really helped me get going with this technique, but I'm still learning, I'm still working on this, and the next sort of challenge for me is to be able to, have this thing going while figuring out how to play some chords that combine the slide and a fretted note. That to me is just like taking this thing another level. So playing licks is one thing, but learning how to make an open tuning do something that it's not really supposed to when you're playing with a slide is I don't know. I'm really excited about that possibility. So keep tuned here to this channel, and we'll see where we go with this. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you see just how cool it is and just how this can really help develop a solid slide technique for you. But if you're really just kind of new to slide and you like this sound but you want to get up to speed, then check out the Slide Guitar Essentials course that I've got back at BGI. You can go to bluesguitarinstitute.com/slide now and check out the course. You can see a little bit about what's going on there, see a little bit about the lessons and the way we'll kind of walk through the Slide Guitar Essentials course. I think you'll dig it, and I think it'll help you get a lot of the fundamentals necessary to put something like this together. So check it out, bluesguitarinstitute.com/slide now, and practice up, practice smart, and I'll see you here next Tuesday, all right? Hit the subscribe button, hit a thumbs up, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks, and play on.